Greetings. I would be honored if you would join me in a thought experiment of how my life would have turned out differently if Qui-Gon had defeated Darth Maul on Naboo. Let us go back to that fateful day where Qui-Gon met his death at the hands of Darth Maul. This time, instead of Qui-Gon foolishly charging through the ray shield doors only to be cut down by Darth Maul, he instead hangs back and waits with Obi-Wan, and they charge at Darth Maul together and cut him down, and he is completely dead, never to be revived again. Back at the Jedi Temple, Obi-Wan gets promoted to Jedi Master for his valiant deeds. Qui-Gon, having just killed a Sith Lord, has some leverage over the Jedi Order, and he influences them to take me as an apprentice. This results in Qui-Gon becoming my master, not Obi-Wan. As a result, my life turns out better because I have more balanced training from a wiser master. Obi-Wan was more of a big brother, but Qui-Gon was the father I needed, and this time he gives me that balanced training. He teaches me to think for myself and not just be a pawn for the Jedi Order. He does not make me feel guilty for my aggressive urge to protect those that I care about most, and most importantly, he allows me to have a relationship with my mother. Although we keep it a secret because it would make the Jedi Council angry, he understands what I went through on Tatooine and why making sure my mother is okay is important to me. As a result, I am more mentally balanced, and I am able to offer Ahsoka Tano better training because I became a Jedi Knight under better circumstances and with wiser decisions. Count Dooku remains a Jedi in this continuity due to not becoming so disgusted with the Jedi for failing to protect Qui-Gon. Because Qui-Gon lives, Dooku remains a Jedi. However, something is still different about Dooku. He is still disgusted with the inaction of the Jedi. He is so disgusted with their lack of overturning slavery and despotic dictatorships, as well as their lack of insight into whether or not the Sith were returning, and as a result, this causes him to form his own splinter faction within the Jedi Order. But this is a secretive splinter faction comprised of himself and everyone in his training lineage. He trained Qui-Gon, who trained Obi-Wan, who trained me, who trained Ahsoka. So those of us in Dooku's lineage end up forming a secret society within the Jedi called the High Table. The High Table is an aggressive defender of the light side. We do not believe in sitting in the council chambers running our mouths all day. Instead, we get out there and we get a piece of the action. We believe strongly that you must aggressively protect the light side or the dark side will win. Now, we still maintain our Jedi status and we go on missions that the Jedi send us just to keep up appearances. We are still polite in front of the Jedi Order so as not to raise suspicion, because we still have access to the Jedi archives where we learn from all sides of the Force, study it more deeply. We use our personal relationships for good. We end slavery on planets where human trafficking is taking place. We assassinate evil dictators, and we blackmail corrupt politicians. We are cleaning up the galaxy one evil senator at a time. This obviously would get Palpatine's attention because with us taking out all of his political allies, it complicates his ability to become the Grand Chancellor. So as a result, he starts his own inquisitorium. Instead of waiting for Order 66 to go through, he starts a secret inquisitor force already. He starts recruiting disenfranchised or frustrated Jedi who are prone to join the dark side of the Force. This results in the Jedi Order getting schismed because some people join the High Table, others secretly join the Inquisitorium. However, both sets of former Jedi still attend the Jedi Order and pretend to be Jedi so that they can keep tabs on what the Jedi is doing. Yoda obviously starts to notice that something is wrong. He gets a negative feeling because what ends up happening is that certain Jedi are more rude and insubordinate towards him. There are even scuffles between rival factions of infiltrators within the Jedi Academy, and this brings great joy to Palpatine because essentially the Jedi Order is getting torn in half. Those that think it is too far to the light side join the Emperor, and those who think that it is too far to the dark side end up joining the High Table. Palpatine decides to put his plan in motion to have Padme assassinated, eventually resulting in him becoming the Chancellor and eventually the Emperor. I would get sent on that mission to join Obi-Wan in order to investigate the attempted murder on Padme. However, this time, when I meet Padme, I am in a completely different headspace. Having had adequate mentorship from both Qui-Gon and Dooku ever since I was a little boy, I am a more confident and balanced Jedi. I am not a sexually repressed, psychopathic serial killer with mommy issues like I used to be. So me forming an unhealthy attachment with Padme never happens. We never fall in love, but the rest of the mission continues as normal, however much faster, because I am much stronger in the Force. The Battle of Geonosis continues anyway, but this time it is majorly different. For starters, General Grievous is leading the Separatists, not Count Dooku, because Dooku's still a Jedi. The High Table vastly overperforms in the Battle of Geonosis. We suffer absolutely no casualties whatsoever because we have been trained more heavily in combative applications of the Force. Of course, most of Yoda's standard Jedi still die, but the High Table survives. We then track down the Inquisitorium to the hangar bay where the battle commences. Ahsoka Tano makes light work of Barriss Offee. Obi-Wan embarrasses General Grievous before dismantling him, just like in the main timeline. Qui-Gon kills Savage Opress, who was only trying to avenge his brother. Count Dooku completely makes a fool out of Sora Bulk, and that just leaves me to fight Pong Krell and Asajj Ventress. Fortunately for me, they have way too many damn lightsabers on their side, and I am able to leap around them while they accidentally cut each other up with all of those excessive blades. Our victory is decisive until Palpatine shows up, angry that we just destroyed his Inquisitorium, and he lashes out at all of us with a powerful, concussive wave of Force lightning, knocking us all down temporarily. Yoda shows up at the hangar bay as per normal, and he engages in a duel with Palpatine. But this time, because Palpatine is extra frustrated with his Inquisitorium being destroyed, he gives Yoda everything he's got, and they are essentially at a stalemate, and Yoda begins to lose ground just like he did in the original timeline. That is when I step in, and with a powerful wave of my hand, I surround Darth Sidious in a powerful wave of light Force aura. I am using the ability Force Sever that I learned from the Jedi holocrons that I studied from Nomi Sunrider. This effectively cuts off Palpatine's connection with the Force, and then I use Tutaminis to redirect his lightning back at him, frying him from the inside out. He's completely dead. Yoda then catches his breath, turns to Count Dooku, looks at him with anger and disappointment about being lied to, and about Dooku starting an unauthorized faction without Yoda's permission. Dooku looks at Yoda with a stern face and says, "Master, we have been stamping out the dark side and the Sith at every turn. All you have done is sit on your slimy green ass and not help out. Now, if you have anything to say, now is the time. Otherwise, I think you are no longer fit to run the Jedi Order. You lack vision, you lack focus, you are too inward with your emphasis. You have done no good for the galaxy in the last 600 years. So they take this argument back to the Jedi High Council, where Dooku explains everything about the High Table and their new philosophy and how it's more effective against the Sith than whatever Yoda was doing. This results in the High Council, everyone except for Mace Windu, voting to support Dooku, and Dooku becomes the new head of the Jedi Order. I would get promoted to the rank of Master, the galaxy would have peace, and Ahsoka Tano and I would settle down on Tatooine getting married, and having two young Togretta versions of Luke and Leia. And that is how my life would have turned out if Qui-Gon had killed Darth Maul on Tatooine. Let me know what you think in the comments below.